I'm Miss Vivian and I'm an English tutor at A Scorers. So today we are actually going to look at how to teach P6 Foundation English. All right. So for today, we are going to look at three aspects in the English language. We're going to look at closed passage. We're going to look at continuous writing. And lastly, we're going to finish it off with open-ended comprehension. Okay. All right. So let's look at the slides right now. Now, as I've mentioned earlier, the first part we're going to look at is comprehension close. Now, comprehension close, I think the most fundamental skill that students should be equipped with is to have the ability to find out the clues that actually gives them the answer, the most suitable word. All right. So how do we get that? How do we look out for the clues? So there are basically two steps that we're going to focus on in this segment. The first step would be to look out for the clues within the sentence itself. Okay. And the second step will be to look before and after the blanks. All right, for the clues. Okay. So the first extract, it says a guitarist can play many different types of what, like blues and jazz, using a guitar. Now over here, you must prompt the students, you must ask them, what is this extract talking about? So we understand that it has something to do with music, right? And when after the blank, if you notice like blues and jazz, you must also explain to them that like introduces examples. So when like introduces examples, so blues and jazz is a genre of music. So the answer would be music. A guitarist can play many different types of music like blues and jazz using a guitar. Okay. Now the next one, I'm driving from Singapore to Thailand and will be sharing my what here in a blog. Now we understand that the writer is driving, right? The action is driving. He's driving from Singapore to Thailand. Now, is he talking about his action? No. He says that he will be sharing his experience in a platform. So this traveling, okay, we don't say driving or traveling because those are action words. Instead, we use journey. So I'm driving from Singapore to Thailand and will be sharing my journey here in a blog. Okay. Now, following that, the next extract, simply tap and what for your bus and train fares using the EasyLink card. Now, what is the purpose of an EasyLink card? So you must ask the students this question. Now, what is the purpose of an EasyLink card? Of course, yes, the action is tapping, but the purpose of an EasyLink card is to pay, right? So simply tap and pay for your bus and train fares using the EasyLink card. All right. Now, the next question, the winners were happy and the what and the who were disappointed. Now we understand if the winners were happy, then who are the ones that are usually disappointed? So in this case, the hints would be opposites and your answer would be losers. So the winners were happy and the losers were disappointed. Okay. Now moving on, the next question, runners generally prefer plastic water bottles, what? Paper cups, as they are more convenient to drink from when running. So runners generally prefer. Now, you must explain to the students that the word prefer doesn't mean that you like one thing and you don't like the other. No, it means that you like both of these things, but you like one thing more than the other. So your hints would be to compare one versus the other, how much you like one more than the other. So to do that, we use the infinitive, which is to, T-O. All right, so that will be your answer. So runners generally prefer plastic water bottles to paper cups as they are more convenient to drink from when running. Okay, now the next extract, the Singapore Zoological Gardens is home to what? Like tiger, monkey, and elephants. So like I've mentioned during extract 1, or the very first extract, like introduces examples. So when we are talking about tiger, monkey, and elephant, all these things are animals, right? So the hint is to group them up. So your answer would be animals. All right. Okay. So the next extract, who hasn't heard of sausages? Consumed by many people throughout the world, sausages have become a very what food item? So over here, your clue is who hasn't heard of sausages. That tells us that everybody knows it. Now, when everybody knows it, it means it is a very popular food item. So your answer would be popular, or common is also accepted. All right. Now, the next question. Thousands of years ago, people used the what as a heat and energy source. Ancient Greeks built their homes to get the most sunlight during the cold weathers. And in the 1830s, an explorer, John Herschel, used the sun's energy to cook food during an adventure in Africa. So now this extract is very different from our other extracts because we are going to apply step 2 over here, which is to find other clues before or after the blank. Okay, so here your hints would be sunlight and sun's energy. So the passage is talking about heat as an energy source. So where do we get heat from? Right, we get it from the sun. So hence your answer would be sun. All right. Okay, following that, the next extract also will be applying step 2. The quickest and simplest clean habit to adopt would be good hand hygiene. We use our hands constantly touching many what surfaces? Shaking hands with people, eating our meals, typing on our laptops, or even playing in school. Now, this extract, we are talking about hand hygiene, right? Cleanliness of hands. So we use our hands constantly touching. So you must direct your students. Now, usually we touch what kind of surfaces? Our teacher sometimes asks us to clean the whiteboard. When we are doing our work, we do it on a table. When we want to adjust our seating, we touch our chairs. So all these are different surfaces, right? So your answer would be different. Yet again, doing forward and backward referencing, like what I explained earlier. Okay, so the following extract is also quite similar. Many rare birds can be found in the Singapore Jurong Bird Park. For example, the national bird of the Philippines, the Philippine eagle, is now highly what? Only 400 pairs remain in the wild. Now, you need to direct the students' attention to what does the extract mean by rare birds. So rare birds means birds that are hardly seen or not easy. They are hardly seen or they are not easy to be found anywhere, right? And the other part you need to direct the students to is only 400 pairs remain in the wild. So that means that after this 400 pairs, we cannot find these birds anymore. So they are at the brink of extinction. So what would be the most appropriate word to use to explain this situation? So the word would be endangered, right? So for example, the national bird of the Philippines, the Philippine eagle, is now highly endangered. Okay, so moving on, her competitiveness is a trait she believes she what from her mother, Uma, a former runner, and her late father, Eric, who did judo and a number of other sports. Now, you must explain to the students when something is being passed down from parents or from family members, the most appropriate word to use would be inherited. So the answer would be inherited. Her competitiveness is a trait she believes she inherited from her mother, Uma, a former runner, and her late father, Eric, who did judo and a number of other sports. Now, the next question and the last extract for comprehension close. People were scared to go to Samau Island, right? The island was said to be haunted, scary, and people always say if you go there, you won't come back alive. But we love what we find it challenging, he told CNA. So the island already has a very bad reputation, right? But we don't know what we are looking like, what we can expect, like what is going to happen there. but we do know that we will be facing some challenges in terms of getting there, in terms of maneuvering your way around the island. So your answer would be challenges. Okay. Now, moving on, that was the end of closed passage, the closed passage segment. Now we're looking at the continuous writing segment. So continuous writing segment, now over here, I'm going to emphasize on how important it is for a student to organize their composition. So coaches, you have to ensure, or you have to direct the students to understanding this importance. Like for example, if you are making a burger, right, I cannot just put the burger and throw some meat and cheese and not all, it's not properly put or it's not properly placed, and then all of a sudden I just give you to eat. The presentation is very messy, right? So here we are focusing on the presentation. All right, so in a burger there is a system. Okay, first you put in the lettuce, and then you put in the patty, and then you put in the cheese, and then you put in the tomatoes, and then you put in the mustard and the ketchup and all that. So it has to go in a sequence, in an organized sequence, one after another. Okay, so the sequence here, how do we do this sequence, or how do we put forth this sequence? Now, to organize a composition, right, we have to understand that a composition is divided into three parts. Okay, the first part will be the introduction paragraph. The second one would be the body paragraphs. And the third one would be the conclusion, right? So now, usually to help students from not getting carried away to help them to not get carried away in their writing, I will always tell the children to keep their introduction paragraph to 3 to 5 lines. Cap it to 3 to 5 lines. Body paragraphs, it may be about 2 to 4 body paragraphs, but each paragraph, try to cap it to 5 to 7 lines per paragraph. Okay, and of course, conclusion, we cap it to 3 to 5 lines. Okay, this is to help the students to not get carried away in their writing. Okay, sometimes students get so carried away that they actually will write an introduction which is half a page long, and they don't even realize that it's half a page long, until it's being marked and it's given back to them. All right, so this is to ensure that they don't overwrite, okay, or they don't get too carried away. So coaches, you have to emphasize this. All right, now here is a sample. So introduction, like I've mentioned, 3 to 5 lines. This composition is about Candice, who was with her family in Thailand for a trip. Okay, so that will be introduction paragraph, which is about 3 to 5 lines. Later on, you can actually read more in detail. The next one would be the body paragraph, where we are talking about what actually happens, right, in it, like what are some of the most interesting things that she saw, and the plot itself. This is where we build a plot. Okay, and lastly, we are looking at conclusion, which is also yet again 3 to 5 lines. Okay, and we end the composition in a very amicable way, meaning that we don't yet again overwrite it, and we also stick to the point. All right, that means, okay, if this is going to be my if this is going to be my plot, okay, how do I finish? How do I give a proper and a neat finish in my conclusion? Okay, so this is something also you have to direct the students into understanding. All right, the next part here. Now, one of the strategies in scoring for continuous writing is to use at least 2 vocabulary words in a paragraph. Okay, so when we say use 2 vocabulary words in a paragraph, you can either use it in a dialogue or you can use it in a sound word. Okay, now when we talk about vocabulary words, I'm not asking for the students to use bombastic words. Just use phrasal verbs, like instead of saying very tired, exhausted or worn out. Okay, instead of saying that I was very, very hungry, I was famished. or I was, I'm starved and stuff like that. So try to explain to the students, how vocabulary can actually enhance what they're saying, and in that way their composition actually stands out. Okay, so over here you can see, Sally, wake up, you're late for school, Mom said in a panic, and that's when I realized I forgot to set the alarm. Smash! I got out from the couch, startled. My dog had accidentally knocked over Mother's favorite vase. Okay, so yet again, strategies would be to use at least 2 vocabulary words in a paragraph, and you can use them in a dialogue or when you are using your sound words. Okay, in your sound words. All right, following that, now here as follows are going to be some composition writing exercises, okay, where you are given 3 sentences here, okay, A, B, and C, and you can actually prompt the students to sequence them. So this is called story sequencing, like to put the stories in order. Like for example, for this one here, which is called Danger Zone, my friends had called me up. A says, my friends had called me up for a soccer game. Rejoicing with happiness, I grabbed my soccer ball and rushed to the field. It had been many days since we last played soccer due to COVID. B, I was lying on my couch watching the old boring television series, which I had to turn off. Just then, my handphone beeped with a message. And C, I could see Bobby and Paul in the distance. I rushed up to them, suggesting whoever kicks the ball furthest will win. Both of them agreed readily. Watch this, I bragged as I kicked the ball skillfully. The ball flew up into the air and landed at the nearby construction site right over a danger sign. So here, I think you can prompt the students to say which one started first. Is it his friends calling him up for a soccer game? Or is it the fact that, the ball got stuck, the ball got kicked into a nearby construction site? Or was it the fact that he was lying on the couch doing nothing and his handphone beeped? Okay, so the sequence will be B, A, and C. All right, so B, A, and C. Okay, moving on, same goes for the second extract as well. First day in school. So yet again, direct the students to which one could be the introduction, the body, and the conclusion. Okay, remember, introduction is always, it's always a paragraph where you are setting the place, like where the story is taking place, and your character introduction. Okay, and students must be able to identify that. All right, and also the third one, yet again, a dilemma. It's also very similar, sequencing, story sequencing, and a very bad idea, similar. Now, the next one is also quite similar, learning a new skill. Okay, all right. So we have come to our last segment, which is open-ended comprehension. Okay, so open-ended comprehension, we are looking at the first example. We swam for 2 hours before we were asked to vacate the pool. We had our tickets punched again and left. Now, you see, when it comes to open-ended comprehension, yet again, a student should be able to understand, analyze, infer, and do referencing. Okay, so here the question that is asked is, where was the author? So how are we going to teach the students to reference? Okay, so the clue will be swam. So where do you swim? Now, in this case, some students might say, oh, you can also swim in the sea. You can also swim, in a lake or something. Yes, you can. But which place do we have to buy a ticket to go in? And which is the place that has a closing time? So it's usually a swimming pool. So we answer, the author was at the swimming pool. Okay, so the next extract here, every morning Mrs. Sim would make a sandwich which contains ham and cheese for her husband. Mr. Sim always ate it with a cup of coffee. So what does it in bold in the paragraph refer to? So the clue will be, you eat this item, right? So the options will be either sandwich or cup. So which one do you usually eat? You eat a sandwich. All right. So that will be the answer right there. The next question, have you heard of tree pruning? It involves removing certain parts of a tree. It is done for various reasons, and one of them is to remove dead branches. If not pruned, these branches may fall off trees and injure passers-by. Property such as cars may also be damaged as a result. So here we are doing what do you call it, referencing. So according to the passage, it is safer to remove dead branches before they fall off trees. So fill in the first one, number 1 and number 2 below to show how falling tree branches affect us. Okay, so how do they affect us? They injure passers-by and they damage vehicles. Okay, now same goes for question 3 also. We have an extract here, and the question asks, in the paragraph, what was the writer doing when someone called for him, right? Put a tick in the box beside your chosen answer. So from the extract, we know that he was sleeping. Okay, so we can go back to the extract. It says, I was woken by a loud noise. I had fallen asleep. So he was sleeping. Okay, the next one, question 4. The question here says, which word shows that the kitten was comfortable up in the tree? So we have to look for the clue. The clue would be sitting comfortably, right? She pointed up at the apple tree. When I looked up, I saw fluffy white kitten. I saw her fluffy white kitten sitting snugly on a branch. So you must tell the students that sitting snugly means you have found your sweet spot, okay? Which means you have found your most comfortable position. So which word shows us that the kitten was comfortable up in the tree? The word snugly, okay? Now, following that, the next extract, there are some reasons for cyberbullying. Cyberbullies may be unhappy about something, and to show their unhappiness, they choose to bully others online. They may also echo other cyberbullies' unkind words just to feel accepted by them. Okay, so our question tells us, using the information below, fill in number 1 and 2 using the diagrams. So reasons why someone becomes a cyberbully. Now, as we saw in the passage earlier, they are either unhappy about something or they are following others. This is the reasons why they become cyberbullies. All right. Now, the next question, question 6. Breakfast is often regarded as the most important meal of the day. Okay. A person who skips it often has lower energy levels throughout the day. He will also feel hungry, and this will cause him to be distracted from his work. So what does it in bold in the paragraph refer to? So this is referencing. So it, the clue would be lower energy level when skipped. So what gives you lower energy level when you skip it? Breakfast. All right. And the next part of open-ended comprehension is we are looking at completion of sentences. Okay. It's a whole new segment, but it's associated with open-ended comprehension as well. So completion of sentences would be something like this in an extract, okay? Lift upgrading program in Milton Estate. 23 September 2019. Dear residents. Now, this letter is addressed to all the people who lived in where? Now, who lived in Milton Estate. That would be your answer. Okay, this letter is addressed to all the people who lived in Milton Estate. All right. So when it comes to completion of sentences, we teach the students how to find the answers from the given information. It's very similar to comprehension close. All right, it's quite similar. Now, question 2 also quite similar. For the safety of the residents, they need to stay away from some parts of the common corridor and what? So if you look at the extract here, you can see that during the upgrading period, a part of the wall will be, will be cordoned off, and corridor for each of the blocks would be removed. Some parts of the void deck will also be closed off for safety reasons. However, there will be clear signs to direct residents to where they want to go. right? So your answer would be void deck, because these are the two places they have mentioned, common corridor and void deck. Okay, so for the next part, question 3 is also pretty similar. We Care Club, Park Grove Primary School, 1st September 2020, dear pupils. So would you like to join We Care Club members in volunteering at an old folks home? The notice invites pupils from where to sign up as volunteers to visit the old folks home? Pupils from Park Grove Primary School. Okay, all right. And also the second part, we will distribute food items to the elderly at the elderly home. Okay, the most enjoyable part of the visit will be the performances that we put up to entertain the elderly. So the details of the visit are as follows. Date, 26 October 2020. Time, 2:30 p.m. to 4:30 p.m. And venue, Sunview Old Folks Home. Now, pupils who sign up as volunteers will spend an afternoon with the elderly who are staying at the Sunview Old Folks Home. All right. So same goes for the for question 5 as well. Pupils who signed up as volunteers will be given a participation form by what? A teacher in charge of We Care Club. So if you look at the extract, the general office before 14 September 2020, and Madam Roslina will issue a participation form to you. So by Madam Roslina. Okay, so the next part are also as follows. Sunshine Primary School, the address, the given telephone numbers and website. 24th September 2018. Dear Parents 2018 Young Artist Award. The title of the award that will be given away at the presentation ceremony on 3rd November 2018 is the 2018 Young Artist Award. All right. Okay, so the next extract, the ceremony will be held in the school hall on Saturday, 3rd November 2018 from 4 p.m. to 6 p.m. Now, the venue of the ceremony is the what of Sunshine Primary School. It will be held at the school hall of Sunshine Primary School. Okay, the next one, the guest of honor will be chairman of the school advisory board, Mr. Gordon Lim. Mr. Gordon Lim, who will be the guest of honor for this ceremony, is the chairman of the school advisory board. Okay, now in this part, you must tell the students you don't lift, okay, because the name of the chairperson is already given, Mr. Gordon Lim. Now all we have to focus on, who is he or what is his position, right? So Mr. Gordon Lim, who will be the guest of honor for this ceremony, is the chairman of the school advisory board. Now the next part we are looking at would be form filling, okay, which is also another part of the open-ended comprehension. So for form filling, now you are usually given a brief, like what is given here on the left. Okay, your brother Bobby Ang is not free to go to the book fair as he has to attend a sports camp. He needs your help to sign up for a magazine for the first time. He wants to subscribe to a magazine for 12 months and has passed you the cash to pay for it. He likes conducting experiments. You both live at Block 33, Cookie Road, 0303, Singapore 123321. He can be reached at 87676787, right? So here you are given the magazine subscription form. So you need to direct the students as to where to find the answers from and how to put them. Okay, for the magazine subscription, and the next one also for the Young Readers Club is also pretty similar. All right. Okay, so we have come to the end of our slides. Okay, thank you so much for today. Have a good day. Bye.